Hi friends, Christine here. I'm really glad you came by today and I hope you enjoy this video. And before we start, I want to A, thank you for all of your support, and B, apologize for being so absent lately. I've had some health issues crop up, both with my hands and my ticker, so I've had to be, kind of concentrate on dealing with that, or so my husband tells me. So I've been doing that and it's good and I'm improved and everything is looking up-ish. I'm seeing a new specialist for my hands because what we thought worked actually didn't. So I'm still kind of challenged by that. But that's okay. Today I want to share with you a couple of things. One is I have some new kits out, and that's like woohoo, yay. I have some new treasure box books out. I have a Christmas version, like a very nice old ledger, and a more traditional sort of ledger. And these are, you've seen these before, the little books that come in different covers that you can hide your things and hide your passwords, how they were originally designed. But we figured out that, oh look, these little pocket companion notebooks also fit in here. So if you wanted sort of a secret journal, you could do that. And other things fit in here, pictures, recipes, anything that's about 4 by 6. So there's those, and that's exciting in itself because it's been hard to work while I've had all of these commitments outside of the studio. And there are new little pocket companions, some Christmas ones. This is a naughty or nice list for Santa, and there are a couple of other designs that you'll see. And then there's an election kit that's it's really far more elaborate than I'm going to show you here, but I just wanted to show you that there is that. So what I want to talk about today is using the scale feature on your printer to get other kinds of items and ephemera, and I don't know why the camera is going rah, rah, rah. But we're going to ignore it for now and hopefully it's going to stop. Let me see if I zoom a little, if that changes anything. I really don't know if it's going to, but I hope it does. So okay, so essentially what we're talking about here is simply using kits that exist, mine or other designers, and using the scale feature so that you can get other things. What kinds of other things? Well, in this case, for example, I needed a little gift card enclosure, so I made this from this kit. And all I did was print the cover at a reduced scale, and then glued up the sides, cut out the little thumb notch, and now I have a cute little envelope for a gift card. So in doing that, I said, okay, well that's great, that works, that's nice. What else can I use to do the same thing? Well, it turns out there are a lot of things you can use. So then I said, how about the book box? I mean, it has a compartment. You would think that I could make a gift card holder out of that. Well, of course I can. So I made a few of them. And this one holds a bunch of cards. So therefore, I could hold any kinds of cards if you want to hide credit cards, whatever. So I'll show you how to do these. And it's very simple. And it's largely, with few exceptions here, just constructing the kit as designed, just smaller, with a few exceptions. And this, for example, is part of an election kit I just put up. And it's filled with patriotic papers and lots of ephemera. There's pockets and tags and all of that. But what I did then is I printed it a little bit smaller just to show the difference in size, that this now fits directly inside a traditional standard journal, whereas this one is the size of a standard journal or something like it. And then this one is the size of a pocket companion. It's almost identical in size to those. And I used the same papers and the same pages and file prints that I would have used to make it big. I made it small. I'm going to show you how to do that. Same thing with these folders. Now this isn't the exact one that I used. Well, it is for one project, and then for another I use different file design. But so for here, I use these folders to make, again, a little gift card envelope. Very simple. I can never get these back in on camera. It goes back in so easily every other time. I don't know what my jam is with that. But I also made little inserts that can go in your journal. So these are designed to be this big and go into your journal, let's say this way, okay? But now, by simply reducing them, we can, let's open up to a page, create little pockets and whatnots that can open up this way. And if you glue only the edges, it becomes a pocket in itself. So different things that you can do just by reducing the scale. And the same with these. Just show you a different way to do it, making more of an envelope. Same thing. And then using paper clips to keep them closed. This one, same idea, but it opens up all the way. So maybe you'd hide journaling space in it and that sort of thing. And then lastly, I have another kit or other kits with a decorative front and back, same shape as this. But I constructed that in a tiny version, and it too is a great place for gift cards to make a cute little presentation if you're giving somebody multiple gift cards. Or you could just make one and just put one pocket in it. And same thing, little file folder looking. So again, I was just playing around with what can be made by simply changing the scale when you print things out. And these are a few of the projects I came up with. So keep in mind, I've got some new of these books coming out too. So if you want to make these smaller versions, keep an eye out for new designs for that. And then my next video is going to show you how to take these designs or any of these. I mean, I have all of these that I've made already. These are the originals, and there are a couple of other new ones up. And we are going to make an actual journal using these covers. And I'll show you how I made this Christmas journal. And it's not fully decorated yet. I haven't gotten to that. But that'll be another video. Again, same idea, using kits you already have to make new and different things. So, how do we do this? Let's get to work. Okay, so what I've done is I've printed the cover and the book block, the box itself, at 56%. And I did it on my printer in a way that I could print one on one side of the page, and I flipped it over and printed the other page. So I'm not wasting paper. And the benefit also of printing in this orientation is that the grain of the paper I'm using matches up with the major folds of the artwork. It's not something you really have to care about, but it's just, you'll get cleaner folds if you can orient the image this way. If not, do not worry about it. What we want to do is score. So the first scores we're going to do is for the cover, and basically what I do is score it on the inside of there are two scores for the spine, because if we were making a real book or a real book box, it would have a separate spine, but this one really won't. So you're going to score it on the inside score mark, the one that makes a more narrow spine. And then we're just going to cut it out. All right, so there's our cover. Doesn't get much easier than that. And now for the inside, we're going to score anywhere there's a transition of pattern. So anywhere two patterns meet, let's put a score there. Okay, then we trim the artwork to the edges. So just go around the artwork and trim it. Alright, so then, like I said, we want to remove this, and it says remove. Now we're keeping these, but we are going to slice them apart so we can actually fold the box. So then here, just choose simple straight lines. And here we want to slice these little tabs so they separate from what will be the sides. So now we have little tabs here, and we keep those. And now these we can trim off. All right, so there's all we have to do. Now this and these two tabs we're going to fold over and glue down. And they're sort of reinforcement, so to speak. And on the inside of the box they cover part of this section so that it still looks covered, or paper. Press this down. Do the same here, just on each of these little tabs. And hold and press. Now we could have, before we started gluing, snipped these little corners, these little tabs. We want to miter them ever so slightly, even at this size, or especially at this size, to take some of the bulk out of this fold after we fold and glue. So we're just going to take a little tiny bit, just enough to give it some room. I really should put on the glasses. Okay, so now we can fold all of these that we scored earlier. And like so. And the first thing we're going to do is fold this way too. Kind of prime those folds. So now we are going to glue each little tab to the what would be the front. Now since this is the front, if you want to add a sort of thumb notch, the easiest way to do that is to sort of just mark the center up there. Find your favorite size chomper for this and squeeze. Now you're going through 2 layers of 100-pound cover, so you might have to give it a good squeeze. Okay, so now we're going to put a little glue on each of the notches, right on the word keep. And we're going to do that to both of them. And then we're going to fold it in so that what would be the front, the one with the notch, is glued to the little notch on both sides. And then once we've done that, we want to kind of hold it for a second. Or you can use little clamps to hold it in place. And we're going to let that dry. We want to make sure that our notches are not sticking up over the sides. Alright, we're going to let that dry for a second. While that's drying, we can fold our covers. Here we go. Covers folded. That's all that has to happen with this. That should be enough for this to be dry. It appears to be. Now I'm just doing kind of a little test fit here, make sure we're good. And now we're just going to glue each of these sides closed. And it's best to put the glue on the smaller, shorter front, and that way it won't ooze up over this little flap that is open. And then once you get that together, come in with something narrow, like a bone folder, and give it a good bit of love to keep it together. Okay, so that's good. Now we take our cover and figure out which is the front because both sides are the same. I like it when the title reads down. And now we're going to center this top and bottom, left and right, so that there's a bit of a border around the book itself, just like a real book. And then we're going to glue it in. And we glue it with the opening pointing toward the spine so that when the book is closed, things won't fall out. If you put it on this side, of course, it's not very handy. And now we hold it in place and press. And there it is. So now that we have that done, makes a cute little book. To add our gift cards. In this case, this one holds a lot of gift cards. So if you have reason to store several cards or you're giving several cards to somebody, this is a great way to do it. So I'm looking at this now. I have this little bit of edge here. We're just going to trim it. I really should put on my glasses. I will put on my glasses. They're just on top of my head. It's not like they're far away. All right, so this little part here, I'm just going to trim both for sightliness and function so that it doesn't keep our book a wonky. So now what I would do is I would take this and put it under something not super heavy, although using the 100-pound cardstock really helps it so that it doesn't get bashed. But be aware, it could get bashed, like you could squish it. So be aware, it's not the strongest book on the planet, but it does work as a cute little box to deliver gift cards or notes or, you know, whatever. I mean, anything that you might put in here that's smaller. And I would also ink the edges, especially if your scores break, which mine did a little bit. So I just come in here and ink up that white paper a little bit. And that will just make it look more loved. There you go. So there you are. A couple of different designs that I've already done little. I hope this is useful for you, and it works with any of the book boxes that are currently available, perfectly sized. Reduce it 56% on 100-pound cardstock and have at it. So here's another little gift card holder you can make using this kit or these kits, and there's another version that actually has maps of certain states. So what I did is I printed the usual kit out at 56%. So I'm going to ignore this score here and just cut out my piece. Okay, so now let's add a gift card, which I do, or at least I did somewhere. So now I'm just going to line it up here, and I want Vermont to show on one side and this to be a flap on the other side. So I'm going to say, all right, well then I'm going to score it at around 1 inch. And then I want the card to fit in so I can see my score line, and I could say, all right, well I only need to come in then maybe to about here. I'm just kind of winging it. All right, so I have my scores in. So I do want to cut this out. Now I know most of you will do that with scissors. I'm going to use my knife. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it diagonally again, just to soften that corner, since I can't fit it in my rounder. There we go. Now these other corners I can fit in the rounder. take my small and just soften up these corners. Alright, and now I'm going to do the folds. You can see there's a fold here, and a fold here. You can see they overlap, like so. I'm going to give them a little love there. I'm going to take a pencil and mark where this flap goes. It's going to be hard to see, but I will do my best. And I'm going to make a slit so I can use that little tab to close it. Alright, I think I have it there and there. So I'm just going to slit. I think that's about right. Okay, yep, good. So I also have a little punch I sometimes use to delineate the edges, the end of the flap there, but I don't see it handy. So now, ta-da, a little glue just along the edges. So I want to glue just along this bottom edge. And that's probably further in than it needs to be. There we go. I'll glue that up. And again, give it some love, and I probably would have, yeah, ink the edges. And I still might when you're not looking. Alright, so we're going to let that dry for a second. But you can see, slip the card right in and keep it pinched down to let the glue set. And again, it doesn't hurt to give a little love that way. And now you've got a cute little gift card envelope. So that was using this kit. And you could have printed on the inside, I just didn't. But there you go, there's another way to do it, and just trying to give you some ideas for different ways you can use kits of mine that you already own. Alright, so we've seen how to make a little gift card envelope like this out of these little folders. And now I'm going to show you how to make something more like this. So what if you want to use a one of the states that doesn't have the tab in the middle? So here's one that does, and I was able to make it into a little tuck spot with some things in it that I can now glue into my journal and even make it a pocket. You know, if I just glue it along the sides and edges, it can become a pocket, and we could stick something else behind it. Okay, so but if you have a state like Illinois where the tab is over to one side, we'll do something more like a little folded envelope. So I'm going to cut them out, and I'm going to ignore the tab. I'm just going to cut it right off. Okay, so now we simply cut it out, and I've printed it on both sides. And now we want to figure out, well, how big do we want it? So all you have to keep in mind is having a large enough flap to close it. So in my case, let's see, I could go all the way up here, or I can actually go all the way up here on this side and let the name of the state show. Because if I glue this into my journal, the back part won't show, but the front will. So I'm going to glue it, I don't know, how big do we want it? And maybe like that. Holding it up. And now I'm going to straighten my fold and then fold this flap over. You can see it makes a perfectly good envelope compartment. Now for this part, we could do a couple of things. We could have cut it off, but that would make the maximum height of our envelope smaller. That it, you know, it would be a, what, 1/4 inch smaller. So you can cover it. I have this. I could put this here if we don't want to see it at all. Personally, right now, I'm not going to worry about it, but I am going to round the corners. So I have to do medium. There we go. Now, and I'm going to ink as well. Dull that up a little, and then you really don't even notice it. So now, all we have to do is glue. We're just going to come up here. We could put a little thumb jobber in here if we want, and we might because it's a pretty tall envelope. So let's do that. Just eyeball it. I still want to be able to read the word Atlas when it's open, so I'm going to, there we go. Ink there, and now we glue. So we're just going to glue up each of these sides and then close it. So here's a version that's more like this one. This one could be left open for journaling space, and this one is closed. And I'm using paper clips to keep them closed. There are other deviations you can do, but let's just see. Do this. That looks kind of cute. Maybe move it over here. Anyway, you have lots of things that you could do with this, and again, just like the other one, I was holding on to the other side. Oh, how ridiculous. You could put it in as a pocket, and then it will have a pocket and a pocket. You know, something smaller can go in here. Maybe a smaller photo, like I have in here. This could slip right in. Maybe love letters, journaling space, whatever you like. So there again, just another way to use what you already have. So now a little heads up on materials and measurements. So for this jobber, the little gift card tag or gift card envelope, I printed it at 56%. And on this one, I did not print on the inside. I figured all they care about is the gift card. But the whole thing was printed at 56%. And then these envelope type ones, I printed at 71%, but then I printed the inside at 74% because that just ensured that it covered the whole inside. This one I didn't print at all. And this one I've glued up. Here we go. So I printed this at 74%. Actually, this one I didn't. I didn't up the percentage, and you can see it didn't align perfectly. I could just cut that off. But if you want to make sure that the inside design is covering your whole opened envelope, then inside 74, outside 71, and it will be a great size for sticking in your journal. So I'll show you like here, like this could go in here. Again, glue it in like, glue it in like a pocket, and then you'll be able to put things behind it. It pretty much will stay closed on its own once it's been sitting in your journal long enough. But again, you can always grab a little paper clip, and that'll keep it closed too. So that's the secret for getting mini things out of regular size kits. And again, it's not just my kits. Look at all the kits you have from all other designers, and you're going to see that there are ways that you can maybe use them smaller that fit into your journal in ways that you really like. So, for example, I have a new kit out. It's a USA election kit. It's sort of an election day, patriotic. Among many things you can make, there are envelope designs, pockets, tags, everything, but there's also a full-size journal. And it's sort of fun, and it has lines or it doesn't. It's your choice. It's got some flag designs and so forth. And I thought, well, what happens if we make this smaller? So what I did is printed it out at a reduced scale. I just told my printer to print it smaller, and it did. So now I'm simply going to cut this out. It's going to be my cover, and then I'll show you how I did the pages for the inside, because the pages for this size journal run in a particular way, but we can still use these very pages to make this size journal, and I'll show you how. So first I'm going to score right down this spine, just so it's done. And now I'm going to cut this out. All right, so there's the cover, and you can see I printed on the other side as well, so it'll be decorative when you open it up. Now we're just going to fold it, and now we have a mini size. Fix that up like so. I will ink the edges at some point. So these pages are how they come out right from the kit, and they're, as I said, intended for this size journal. But we simply have to cut them in half. They're intended to fold this way, but we're going to fold them this way and still have decorative pages for our little journal. So I'm just going to wing it here, line them up, hope they're all aligned below, more or less, and then slice them. I'm going through a couple of layers, so I'm going to give it 2 easy swipes. Pretty good. But now you see, now the designs are going a different way, but we can still use them. Okay? So I'm just going to fold them all, and I don't normally fold them all. This is 6 layers, and you can see I was not perfect in my division of space, but you can do better than me. I'm just going to fold these, and for the fun of it, I'm going to put the smaller ones on the outside so I can trim the height, because you know me, and that will make me nuts that some of the pages are not the same height. Other people won't care. Other people are luckier. So let me just do this, trim these out. Okay, so now we're going to stick these in here. You can see it's a great fit for this size notebook. And now we are going to slice them this way and trim these pages so that everything meets up with the covers. And again, easy strokes. And some of these can become something else. All right, so here now you can see we still have a wonderfully decorated little patriotic notebook, great for Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, anything like that. Or in this case, I made it for the election. So now I want to round these corners. I can take the pages out for that. I'm going to do medium, I think. And I also want to do the pages. So I don't know if I can do all 6 sheets at once. Let's see. Feels a little tight, but not terrible. There we go. think I'm pushing the limits of my chomper here, but that's okay. Go in. Hey. There we go. All right. Now we have this, goes into here. There are some labels and things you can put on in the kit to embellish the front. I see one of these I missed. Let me just stick this page back in, clean it up properly. There we go. Okay, so now we sew it in. Now we could do this a number of ways. The way I've done other journals, here's another kit. Mini journal, a new one for this Christmas, and I did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and I show how to do that. This one I'm going to try on my sewing machine. I've been wanting to sew on my new sewing machine, so I'm going to go stitch this, and I'll be back. All right, here's our little book, and it's cute and tiny and compact, and at this size also fits into a treasure box book. This is a new pattern I've got out. I've got a few new ones coming out. So if you like these, keep an eye open because I have new kits coming. So we have this that was originally meant to be this size, and I printed it smaller. And you can see there's a color difference, and that's for 2 reasons. 1, obviously it compressed the image, and 2, I added a fresh ink cartridge. So it's a little bit darker. Now here again, here's another size, so it's smaller than this, smaller than the original, but bigger than the little pocket notebook if you wanted to make an insert for the journal, for your journal. This is just, all I did is scale it at a different print size. That's all there is to it. Easy peasy, and it really gives you far more latitude with all the kits you already own. Hey friends. I really do want to end this very long, disjointed video, but I didn't want to do it before sharing with you the easy way to make a calculation to figure out the percentage for kits that you might want to print smaller. So all you have to do is choose one dimension of your item. So let's say this is the original, and this is 5.5 inches wide. Okay, and I know I want to make it the same size as a pocket companion, which is 3.5 inches wide. So I could have just measured this one. All you have to do is take your smaller dimension, 3.5, divide that by the larger dimension of the original, 5.5, and you see I got 63.636%. So basically that's 63+%. I always round up because paper appreciates a little more room, so I'd make that 64%. So I would print this at 64%. The same is true for any of these. So let's take this one, just pick any dimension, say okay, it's 7, this is 7 inches, and I know to make my little card holder, I need it at least bigger than the card, but only slightly. So in this case, it's 3.875. So 3 7/8. So I'm going to take 3.875, divide that by, what did I say this was, 7, and I get 55%. So again, I always round up because you want the extra skosh of room. So that's how easy it is, and it will work with all of these kits just exactly the same. So there's the how to do it. Go create, be awesome.